Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining our weekly Communities of Practice Sunday check-in session. My name's Priscilla Wong, and I'm a member of the Communities of Practice team. I hope everyone has had a good week, and I welcome you to this half hour of Dharma, reflection, and community connection. I'd especially like to welcome you if it is your first time joining this community. It is wonderful to have you here today. It is customary for us in Australia to begin any meeting by acknowledging the traditional owners of our land. I would like to start today by acknowledging the Dharawal people as the traditional owners of the land on which Nantien Institute resides. I also acknowledge the traditional custodians of the various lands on which you all are, and I pay my respects to the elders, past, present, and emerging. Our volunteer team has been working together since 2012, and in response to COVID-19, developed these weekly check-in sessions, which began in October 2020. The purpose of these events was outlined above, guided by humanistic Buddhism to develop and cultivate our practice and friendships. Now more than ever, the practice has become vital, and the purpose of today is exactly that. I'd now like to introduce Dr. Jonathan Page, who is a lecturer at NTI, a medical oncologist, and a valued friend of the community.
Well, thank you, Priscilla, and a warm welcome to everyone, once again joining us from each of the 10 directions. So I hope you've enjoyed some wonderful meditation during the week, perhaps encountering some new hindrances, but responding with a wise pause, a confident examination of the situation, discovering an important truth, relaxing, before moving right along your path. On the other hand, in the real world, your experience may have been different, but still a source of wonder and personal growth. You may have needed self-compassion, which so often is the perfect solution. You must keep your self-compassion muscle very strong through frequent workouts. So today we will address hindrances numbers 3 and 5 on that list. My favorite, sloth, torpor with boredom plus doubt. So like other hindrances, these can cloud our mind and diminish our power of mindfulness. The 5 hindrances are usually presented in a particular order. The first 2, sensory and sensual desire and ill will or anger, both consume our energy wastefully. So over time, with skillful success, that energy, when made available, can be redirected ecologically towards sloth and torpor and doubt, which are usually states of fatigue. Often with such a boost in energy, we find more energy within ourselves. And this in turn may diminish restlessness and worry and anxiety, which are the 4th hindrance. So sloth, torpor, and boredom present with a heaviness of the body and dullness of the mind, which both drag us down into disabling inertia, drowsiness, and often a thick depression. The world loses its radiant beauty. This state can resemble slogging through deep mud. The mind is like a stagnant pool choked with weeds. The Buddha advises it should be thrown off immediately like a poisonous snake in the lap. At this time, doubt and uncertainty may arise. We may lose conviction, faith, and trust in the practice, and even in the teacher. Sometimes it is doubt that triggers the sloth and torpor in the first place. So thus, doubt often overlaps with sloth and torpor, and they may all respond together. Often these hindrances reflect an element of resistance in our life, or maybe to our life. So not facing a particular issue or feeling low self-esteem. Perhaps we could keep a self-compassion diary containing reminders of our essential goodness, advice not to believe defeatist thoughts, and knowledge that all negative states will pass, at least to some degree, which may be enough. It can be fascinating to actually feel the subjective experience of sloth and torpor manifest in the body and the mind. Of course, we can consider fresh air and deep breaths, cold water to the face, walking meditation. These may all help. your favorite tree may share its energy with you. That is, if you've been a faithful friend. If we have lost some meaning and purpose in our life, then we may need to have some deep inner reflection and, of course, a thoughtful conversation with a wise friend. And, of course, don't forget the invaluable principles of Bella, which we've discussed in previous weeks, B-E-L-L-A. Now, in the Fire Sutta, the Buddha says, on occasion, bhikkhus, when the mind becomes sluggish, it is untimely to develop the enlightenment factors of tranquility, concentration, and equanimity. For what reason? Because the mind is sluggish, bhikkhus, and it is difficult to arouse it with those factors. Suppose, bhikkhus, a man wants to make a small fire flare up. If he throws wet grass, wet cow dung, and wet timber into it and sprays it with water and scatters soil over it, would he be able to make that small fire flare up? No, Venerable Sir. On an occasion, bhikkhus, when the mind becomes sluggish, it is timely to develop the energetic enlightenment factors of discrimination, energy itself, and rapture. For what reason? When the mind is sluggish, because it is easy to arouse it with those stimulating factors. Suppose, bhikkhus, a woman wants to make a small fire flare up. If she throws dry grass, dry cow dung, and dry timber into it, blows on it, and does not scatter soil over it, would she be able to make that small fire flare up? Yes, Venerable Sir. So now let's enjoy a short period of reflection and meditation together. And you might even enjoy a brief hindrance. So gently shut your eyes and let them soften and begin to relax. Notice the relaxation in the mind and in the body. And relax your forehead and your cheeks and your lips. So all the facial muscles. And relax the neck muscles. At this point, you may like to place your open hand gently over your heart as a sign of self-compassion. So now relax your shoulders and your upper arms and your lower arms, your hands, fingers, especially your thumbs, and your back muscles. So let a wave of softness move downwards from the back of your neck all the way down to your bottom. And so relax your thighs and your calf muscles, the feet, and finally the toes. So feel the whole body completely relax. So now take your attention to the tip of your nose, to the nostrils. And just start to watch the spontaneous rhythm of your wonderful breath. And notice the air moving in through the nostrils, often through one nostril more than the other. And sometimes the air will feel cool and sharp, filling the lungs. When the lungs are full, there's a short pause. And then the air, all by itself, begins to escape through the nostrils. And the air is now warm and soft. And the lungs soon empty. And then there is another pause before the next breath arises, all by itself. So let us just watch our own breath, the rhythm of our own breath for the next minute. So when you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes and return to your room or your car. So in the breakout groups that are going to follow, you may wish to talk about any particular hindrance of sloth, torpor, boredom, or doubt that you've experienced in the last week or two. And at all times, we apply the principles of humanistic Buddhism. Oh, yeah, I think that's Priscilla. Yes, that's right. When overwhelmed and unable to do anything, there may be many reasons for that, just one small task at a time. And in our group, we all seem to have the idea that we were aware when it was happening. And therefore, you've got a better opportunity to make a wise choice, to become familiar. Languishness, what a beautiful word that is. Languishness and boredom. Wow, that's let's chase that up. Languishness. So that's worth a talk in itself. And it's a dominant emotion in 2021. Maybe it is. I wonder why that is. So many questions. Yes, and of course, using loving kindness, the Brahma Viharas, they're available to be used at any time, including compassion and self-compassion, which can be the antidote for some of these hindrances. Is languish. Languish seems like it's a very positive thing as well. That would be, there must be an art in becoming languishing. Oh, sloth is the mother of poverty. That's lovely too. All right, everybody. Well, continue to contribute to the chat box, and we'll conclude this session.
Thank you, Jonathan. We hope the check-in session was helpful to you and that you experienced the loving kindness of this community as it is offered here today. For anyone who might be experiencing a greater need than what today could meet, or if you just have any comments or questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch. Alternatively, there are some professional organisations listed on the screen above. As usual, there is just an announcement on some events coming up on the 30th of April Pacific time. So I think that's 1 p.m. on the 1st of May Australian time. So please check your local time zones. Venerable Joe will be facilitating a talk by Professor Lancaster and Venerable Miao Guang on the Prajna Paramita in the humanistic Buddhism perspective. So I'll ask the team to also put that in the chat so you can check out the links. As we check out this month, we'd like to ask you all to reflect for a moment and send thoughts to the loved ones, friends and strangers who may need some care and healing. May they feel the warmth, strength and love of this community as we recite the dedication of merits together.
Let us now dedicate the goodness of what you have done to all living beings. May kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity pervade all worlds. May we cherish and build affinities to benefit all beings. May Chan, Pure Land, and precepts inspire equality and patience. May our gratitude and humility give rise to great vows.
Thank you, everyone. And a big thank you to Jonathan for this month exploring so gently the hindrances for us all. Next week, we'll be back again at 11 a.m. on the 2nd of May. And Joey will be leading us for the month of May. And I believe his topic will be on Dharma is everywhere and roads. So he might be able to tell us a bit more in the community session, which will, if you have time, do stay. So our community has an informal chat for the next half an hour or so. Otherwise, we'll see you all next week at 11 a.m. Thank you.